Hello everyone, welcome to Code Kamikaze YouTube channel. I hope everybody are doing good. In this video, we are going to discuss about few machine learning basics. So in terms of machine learning basics, we have a lot more to add in the machine learning basics, but I'm going to cover which are necessary for this MLOps course and what all basic things. And quick heads up, guys, like I'm not going deep dive into each concept in machine learning basic because again it will be going to time consumption process to explain it. So I will be cover what all necessary for machine learning operations as a basics. So stay tuned. And the first thing, whenever you heard of machine learning and in the discussion or if somebody are discussing, so they used to call machine learning model and they used to say algorithms. So first we need to get more and familiar understanding of what is meant by machine learning model and what is meant by machine learning algorithm. Because first we need to understand what is the makes difference between those things. So I'll go with the machine learning model first and later I'll discuss about machine learning algorithm. Or we can go with the machine learning algorithm and we'll discuss about machine learning model. Either way it's fine. So since I have made a documentation, I'll go with the step by step. So machine learning model. So I have written some short definition, or you can call it as a layman's terms or easy to understandable. So I brought few text here. So machine learning model is a tool, and it makes the production or decision based on data. Think a small system that learns from examples. For example, a model night learner recognizing cats on photos, and after being shown many pictures of cats and other things. Very basic things. There is no complexity. So machine learning model is kind of it's a tool, or you can study it. It's kind of a tool where it will take a data and it will give prediction. So let's example. You have seen we have a lot of AI tools has been rising daily basis, and if you look into that, when you open a camera and if you take a picture. So, machine learning model is something that it is going to take a data first and it will give production as per the data, which means it reads every time whatever data you have given and whatever code you have written in the back, like to get a predictions. As we take example, those AI tools, if you go and install it in your mobile phone or any laptop or somewhere, if you show any device like pen or pencil, it will give you the prediction saying that hey, this is pen and this is pencil. So how it is giving the accuracy, because it already trained with the data, which means already trained with the different pens or pencils or human faces or any other objects. It was already trained by the sample data and it already knew the shapes of how pen look like and how cat look like and how dog look like and how human look like. There's the machine learning model. So that we call as a machine learning model, which predicts and based on the data, and it will give outputs, and it will be more smart. We can call it as smart computers. It's layman terms we call it is. And the next one is machine learning algorithm. So the machine learning algorithm is like a recipe or set of instructions for creating the tool. The tool is called as a machine learning model. So it's a step-by-step process that the computer follows to learn from the data and build a model. So the basic difference between a machine learning and algorithm is this is the one, guys. So machine learning model is something that it was already predefined and it already predicted and it was already trying based on the data. But machine learning algorithm is the thing is that it is the process of making a machine learning model, and it is process of setting up the instructions how a model has to be predict, how a model has to take the input data, and how it has to give a prediction. Thus the basic difference between machine learning model and machine learning algorithm. So it's a step by step process that computer, since we are discussing about the computer and the server, follows to learn from the data and build the model. So now it is going to learn from the data and it's going to build the model. So different algorithms, like different recipes for solving the various problems. Because today we are discussing about finding the cats and finding the dogs. So what is happening? You might have seen big big machine learning algorithm saying that while you are going up the speeding on a roads, so there is a camera, it capture your number plate that you are speeding up, and accordingly it will analyze the what is the number series are in your number plate. If you are from India, if you are from US, if you are from Germany, or if you are from any other European countries. So what it will do, it will predict the alpha bits, and accordingly it will send back to the system saying that, hey, this guy has been going on this much of speed, or this guy has not been weared the helmet. So accordingly it is going to give you a fine, a challan we call it as. So that's the beauty of machine learning algorithm, which means there is some steps to be followed to process the data, and you can build the algorithms. Now the basic examples, model is saying that it's a final product that can recognize the cats and photos. An algorithm is kind of then a step up step process used to teach a model to recognize the cat, which means is the since that there is a process to be followed to create a model that we call as algorithm. So final product that can recognize the photos and cat, it's called as a model. So once you have predefined the steps, and if you find that your algorithm is giving a better results to recognize the cats and dogs or whatever it may be objects, that called as a model. So the final output is a model, and the steps that you follow to create a model is called as algorithms. So there is the basic difference between algorithm and model, guys. So you have to be more understandable in this, because we have discussed about very basic things. So if you are not clear about this concept, you can drop me in a comment section. Fine, we have discussed about models and algorithms. Now we have the different types of machine learning. Machine learning type, we have different types of machine learning. So the first machine learning types of is like supervised machine learning and unsupervised machine learning and semi-supervised machine learning and reinforcement learning. So these are the types of machine learning that are available in currently, and it can be added based on the technology booming on, and keep adding up. So we'll discuss about each one of them, what is meant by supervised, unsupervised, semi-supervised, and reinforcement. So let's deep dive into supervised machine learning. So here I can see the definition saying that supervised machine learning is type of machine learning where a model is trained on a labeled data set. This means that the data is used to train a model includes both the input data and correct output. And the model learns from these examples so that it can make accurate predictions on new and unseen data. So I have given a basic, basic definition or whatever basic explanation that you call it, but it can be a bit hard to understand if you are watching my videos the first time. So let me make you more clear and on the supervised machine learning and make you more understandable. So let's take supervised learning, it's kind of learning, with a teacher who shows you the examples with the correct answers. So, for example, if you are learning or recognizing animals, so the teacher always shows you some pictures of animals and tell you their names. So now the model is trained on label data, which means I mean, as I mentioned, you as trained on label data, how you call as animal and how animal has its label and it inputs like a pictures or output like animals. So now you can consider the model, whatever we have trained on label data and learn to map inputs like pictures and correct outputs like animals also with names. Once trained, it can predict the label of new unseen data, just like how we learn to name the animals on your own. Which means, first you need to teach by showing few correct answers, as we mentioned, recognizing the animals. So you need to show their pictures like of animals, how animal look like, and you need to tell their names. This is the animal, this is the cow, this is a buffalo, and so on and so on. So you need to train based on the names, based on the labels of pictures, and with the the labels. So thus we call it as supervised learning. That is what it is showing the definition, which means Supervised machine learning is type of machine learning where the model is trained labeled data set. So in our example, for more understanding what we have discussed, there is a teacher which he shows examples with the correct answers. So with the examples of recognizing a cows and buffaloes and bulls and whatever it may be, based on the size or based on the shapes. So it has some labels. So it got trained. So the model got trained by the teacher and it can recognize. So that's the mean by supervised machine learning. So this means that data used to train the model includes both input data and a correct output. So it has to be both input data. In our case, input data is like it's like a it's like a pictures and the animal names. So you need to train your machine learning model with the correct answers with the best examples. So that's how it will learn, and it will, whenever you give the whenever you give it the data, which means like if you have built the model and now you'd like to recognize it whether the picture is bull or animal, since you have already trained, so it will go and recognize the whether it is animal or whether it is any other aspects. Thus, we call it as supervised machine learning. So we have the different types of supervised learning, like where you need to train the model with the different labeling and all. Like we have the classifications, and under classifications we have the logistic recognition, support vector machine, and random forest, and decision tree, and k nearest neighbors we call as a KNN and Navier Bayes. So these all the types of supervised machine learning and under the classifications, and we have the regression also, like where we can use of prediction of continuous values. So like linear regression, polynomial regression, rigid regression, regression, and lasso regression, and decision tree and random forest. So what is mean by the classifications in a supervised machine learning? So it's same that it's going to predict categorical outcomes, which like categories a class of something belongs to. So it can be hard to understand a single line what is the main purpose of this classification machine learning. Let me give you some example, like you'd like to find the emails, and you have shown the computers many emails like marked spam or not spam. Computer learns sorts new email into the spam or not spam. So first, when you want to find some spam email, so you need to show the computer like, hey, it has been labeled as spam or not spam, and accordingly, computer learns and how to sort a new emails into spam or not spam based on your priorities. Like, you're saying that, hey, if somebody, some XYZ has sent an email, now it is a spam. I don't want to keep it in inbox, so just move on to spam. So what is happening? Like your email model will understand if in the future if somebody are coming up with the same type of email ID and the subject line and the body of the email. So what it will do, it will understand it, since you have given the labeling and since you have given, hey, I would like not to keep this email into my email box. So you have shown the model saying that you don't like this such type of email. So accordingly you are given set of labeling for that, like as a spam. So accordingly it will learn it will learn how to spam your emails and keeping the spam box. That's the beauty of classification. And the second thing is a regression. So regression is something that, like it's going to predict the continuous value. So you know since we have the better example is a prediction continuous values, like in house price. So predicting house price, like giving computer data about house size and rooms location and price, computer learn the predicted prices and often of houses. Like it can be a spam or not spam, whatever it might not. So here you need to give labeling of all parameters, like how the home size, house size, and room size and location, which location you are. It is a um, you know uh, uh, which location you are in, and especially cities and villages and towns, and based on the, and you need to add the prices, and computer learn all the label data and it will give a prediction. So these are all about the classification and regression, type of machine learning. And the next one is unsupervised machine learning. So unsupervised machine learning is a type of machine learning where the model is trained on data without any labeled response. This means the data only contains input variables and no corresponding output variables. So the main goal to uncover hidden patterns or instinct structure into the input data. So this is about unsupervised machine learning. So it can be hard to understand you on this definition. So let me make you more clear in terms of unsupervised machine learning. So unsupervised learning is kind of approach where you don't have a teacher. So in a above example in supervised learning, we have discussed about there is a teacher who always teaches about the labeling of data and how the cows and dogs looks like. In unsupervised learning, you don't have a teacher, but you're given a bunch of pictures of animals but no names. So in a supervised learning, we have discussed about there is a bunch of pictures and the labels and names. How does it look like? We have all the parameters. But in unsupervised learning, it's a bunch of pictures of animals. You have it, but you don't have a names. But you have to figure out which pictures are similar, and you need to group them together, like putting all dogs in one group and putting all cats in another. And this model works based on unlabeled data, which means the data without answer. So why we use it to just find the patterns or grouping with the data, like solving the puzzles without knowing the final picture. So that's about unsupervised learning, which is kind of approach where you don't have any person to teach, like you don't have any person teacher or somebody, but you have a bunch of pictures or animals are available, and it does not have even a name. So you have to figure out which pictures are similar of group, and which pictures are similar. You need to group all them together, putting cows together, putting dogs together, and putting buffaloes together in one groups, and all cats or whatever animals or pet animals in another words you can say that. So we have discussed in the model saying that it works on unlabeled data. So you don't have a labeled data like in a supervised learning. So that's about unsupervised learning. Just a simplification. We have the clustering and association in unsupervised learning. So clustering is technique used to unsupervised machine learning to group similar items together, and the computer looks at the data and organize it into the cluster, a group of based on the similarities. The same way that we have discussed, and it does not have the it's kind of technique where it is going to group all the similar items, which looks like dogs as a grouping and cats as a grouping and any other animal or pet animal grouping. So you can imagine we have a different colored marbles mixed together. So without knowing anything beforehand, you want to short it down in a group. So you can use this clustering algorithm, clustering machine learning model, and you can build the algorithms accordingly. You can train a model. So since you have different colors of marble, so you'd like to group all green marble, blue marble, and red marble, white marble together. So you can use a clustering machine learning type, and you can create the algorithm accordingly. You can write and mention all the steps together, and you can build the models. So we have some clustering algorithms types, we have the k-mean cluster algorithm and mean shift algorithm and dbscan algorithm and principal component algorithm and independent component analysis. So these are the clustering algorithms that are available in our unsupervised learning, and we have the association also. Since I've brought very basic information, how does it look like? But you can do Google it, or you can go to any other resources to understand more into all these machine learning types. So that's all for unsupervised learning. Now it's time for semi-supervised learning. So semi-supervised learning is a type of machine learning that uses to combination of labeled and unlabeled data, and it sits between supervised learning and um, which means where all the data is labeled, and it sits between the unsupervised learning where there is no labeled data. So in other hand, we can call as for more understandable, semi-supervised learning is a mixture of we can say both supervised and unsupervised learning. So imagine if you're discussing about supervised and unsupervised learning, so we are going to discuss about labeled and unlabeled data. So there is a teacher which we teaches to the how the dogs, cats looks like and label names and all. So there is no teacher, but you have a bunch of data and all the names. That we did just now we have discussed about supervised and unsupervised, right? So you can imagine you have a few pictures with the names, and a lot of pictures without names. So you have both. You have a few pictures with the names and few pictures we don't. There is a lot of, even you have a lot of pictures you don't have even name on that or name for that. So you use few names of pictures to help to figure out what that unnamed pictures might be. So most probably this type of model used to small amount of labeled data and large amount of unlabeled data to improve the learning. Which means this kind of machine learning, you can use it where you have the uh, few data which have the names on top of it, which you have label on top of it, and few data you don't have a names. So what you can do, you can use the data which have names, and you can figure out what all the data can be look like. I mean, can be similar, can be similar, which don't have a name on top of it, which don't have any label on top of it. So just now we have discussed we have the bunch of we have the few pictures which have the names, we have the few pictures of dogs and few pictures of cats and few pictures of bulls and whatnot, what other animals, and it names also. So we have the pictures and names. So we have the lot of pictures without names, like we have the different types of bulls, and we have the other cats, and we have the other buffaloes, whatnot. So those pictures don't have names, but you have the picture. So you need to figure out it how you can label it. So that situation you can use a semi-supervised learning, which is a combination of supervised learning and unsupervised learning. So you have the few data which have the pictures and picture names, and we have the bunch of data which don't have the names, only have a picture. So you can train the data which have the pictures and names accordingly to your algorithm, and you can make it up all the steps, and accordingly you can make a model. You can predict the names of the animal which does not have a name based on the picture. So that's the situation you can use a semi-supervised learning. So most probably you can use image recognition and speech recognition. So you might have seen a lot of image recognition and speech recognition. So that situation you can use a semi-supervised learning, and which lies between a labeled data and unlabeled data. So that is about semi-supervised learning, and now it's time for reinforcement learning. So reinforcement learning is type of machine learning where an agent learns to make a decision by performing actions in an environment to achieve goals. So the agent learns by receiving rewards or penalties based on its actions, which helps it figure out the best strategy over time. So it can be a textbook definition where I bring for reinforcement machine learning. For understandable, we can think reinforcement machine learning is kind of playing a games. So you try something, and if it is good, you get a points, which means in our case a reward. So if you play bad, if you play bad, you will lose points. Like, keep going on in over a time. What you will do, you will learn to do the things that you get to most points. When your time passes, when you keep practicing, you will get to know how to get most of the points, or how to win in the game. So learning win by trial and error, which means you are going to you are going to play a game. You may win or you may lose. So you may do some mistakes that then you lose, and next time you won't do that mistakes, that accordingly you will be near to the winning goal. So in this approach, the model, if you come in discussion of technical terms, so the model interacts with the environments, learn from feedbacks that are, it can be a mistake or it can be a win. So if you do mistake, you will lose. If you win, you will get the reward. And adjust its strategy, which means it will adjust the strategy based on the based on the feedback it learns, and maximize the rewards, which means it will reduce the mistakes and it will be near to the win, just like learning to the experience. So how you learn the experience in terms of, first, let's say example, you are playing a football game, or if you're playing a cricket. In my case, I'm playing cricket. In a cricket over, in a over we have a six balls. So if your bowler is bowling and you are in other hand as you're batting, so what you'll do, first ball you are not able to hit. So first you think that the ball is coming faster, and it will be first step is on your near to the foot. So you'll understand how the bowler is bowling the ball, what kind of strategy is using. So first you defeat, first you lose it. So you don't have a point over there. So you have to hit the ball. So you don't have a point. So you lose on first point. And the second ball, what you will understand, okay, this guy will bowl on specific place, and you need to move your bat to hit that ball. So what you will do, you learn from first, you learn from first ball. Now you have a strategy, and you'd like to apply the strategy to win or to get a particular point. So same way here. So in this, you're trying to do something good to get a good points, and if it is bad, you lose the point. So when keep practicing over a time, you would learn to do the things to get a good or most of the points. So like learning by trial and error, as we discussed. So that is where we use the reinforcement machine learning. So now we come to the definition. This type of machine learning model where an agent, where a person is considered, learn making decision by performing action in an environment by achieving goals. The agent learn by receiving rewards or penalties. So there is a agent. He will learn to make a decision. It can be based on the action that you have specified on a specific environment to achieve a certain amount of goals. So in our case, certain amount of goal in terms of he has to hit 6 balls in an hour. So here we need to achieve some points. So first he will do some errors, and accordingly he will learn it. So at the end, even from the first over, he may not hit all the 6 balls. For when he do practicing in the fifth over, or sixth over, he will practice well, and he will understand how the bowler is bowling the balls and how it is throwing the ball. So finally, in the fifth over or sixth over, even the fourth over, he can hit all the balls. So that's how it is getting that. The agent learns by receiving rewards or penalties based on its action, which helps to figure out the best strategy over a time. So that's the called as a reinforcement machine learning. So these are the four types of machine learning, types that are available in machine learning. So these are very basic things to be learned, and these are the very important types of machine learning. So we have discussed about supervised machine learning, which have the labeled data, and unsupervised learning, which have the unlabeled data, and semi-supervised, which have the both label and unlabeled, and the reinforcement, which is going to give the best values based on the predictions such as rewards and penalties. So that's all for this lesson or session, whatever it may be. So I hope you enjoyed learning these basics of machine learning, which help you to jump into MLOps. And I recommend you to go for other documentation. So I have few documentation links where you can go and learn and deep of each machine learning type and what all algorithms that are available inside, and you'll get more information about it. So that's all for this lecture, and thank you for watching. Feel free to drop your comments in comment section, share this video to your friends, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Bye bye.